ASAP Elite, Achievement, Success, and Perseverance. I'm your host, Coach Penn, along with my co-host, Georgia Russo. Our next guest exemplifies what our show is all about. We are honored to bring to you excellence at its finest. Please allow me to introduce our next guest, former University of Michigan Wolverine, 1991 first-round draft pick of the New York Giants, martial art expert, established Hollywood actor, and owner of Bunch Time Productions, Mr. Jarrod Bunch. Hello, sir.
Hello. How are you? That was good.
Well, thank you, man. Thank you. I really appreciate you coming out today. Like I was saying before, our intent is to educate the wisdom that you gained through your experience, man, and hopefully you can change someone's day by educating them or inspiring the next brain to be the next Jarrod Bunch.
I hope so. And all it takes really is you gotta stay focused. And one of the things that, I just resigned from I was the head coach at Beverly Hills High School, their football team for the last few years. And I had to let it go during the pandemic. But one of the things that I've learned, the difference between high school football now and when I was playing in high school.
Okay.
It is almost like college. You got guys poaching players from different cities, different towns, going all around because they want to have that powerhouse high school.
That's right.
And the bottom line is, look, you have to play wherever you're going to play, and you got to set goals. And the part of the problem that I saw is that it gets a little bit tough, and people are like, "I'm out."
Yeah.
And that's because you got people coming in and just like, "Look, come with us. We'll make it easier for you." And then they look at it, think it's easier. It's not about being easy. You want it to be easy, but if it's not, that don't mean you quit.
That's right.
It means you just got to take care of work. You got to take care of business. And this is where you learn in high school, junior high. If you don't pick those things up, it's going to be very difficult to do it.
Mr. Bunch, just to piggyback off that, all of this has transitioned from the AAU way of doing things, even with the NCAA. So it seems to me that the top level has really came down to the grassroots level. You get what I'm saying? And implementing it that way while how they're easing up restrictions of the transfer protocol and different things, making it really about business and getting these kids as soon as they can, with the advent of the 7-on-7 passing leagues and different things. That's why you see kids coming out more ready, especially the quarterback. So yeah, you're right about that. It's a totally different thing. They're turning this intramural level into a business, but they did implement the advent of, being paid off your likeness. I wonder how that's going to go.
Well, it's something I think that should have been implemented a long time ago.
Right.
Hopefully that, it will take off and make some moves in the right direction. When I was playing, I remember being on the radio and someone calling in and asking me, did I think that college players should be paid? And I said, no. I didn't think that they should be, because I thought at that time, this is in the 80s, that the emphasis would be on how much money I would make instead of getting an education. That's why I thought that. But that was when the college coach's high salary was $300,000. The top head coach was making $300,000 and whatnot. But now when you're making $7 million, $8 million, and that's just your salary, plus you got all this other things going on, and the players are getting nothing. Yeah. No, I think it's time for them to get paid or to receive. I came up with, if you graduate, you get this amount of money. If you leave early, you could have some way of receiving some type of money because of what you did while you were there.
That's right.
But something has to be done, I think.
Now, this conversation is completely, off record. Well, off script, should I say. But so you were there the same time frame as the Fab Five. You see, I got my boys up there.
No.
Okay, a little bit before.
Before them.
Yeah, a little bit before.
Yeah. Oh, you are right. I graduated in 90, And I think they got what was it, 91 or 92 is the year that the Fab Five went to the final four, went to the finals. I think it was 92.
Yeah, so I may be speaking out of turn, but I'm sure that you weren't too far removed from Ann Arbor, and I'm sure that you were in tune with what was going on there. So you saw what we're talking about, transpire as it went along. Same thing that was on 30 for 30, with them, with the Nike shoes and them going down to Foot Locker on campus and, seeing their jerseys and different things. So definitely, man. Yeah.
I think they started it.
Yes.
In my mind, the Fab Five is where it all started. I mean, did you see? Yeah, I don't remember seeing anybody but my father and other guys his age wearing black socks.
Yeah, that's right.
Shorts.
That's right. Yeah, that's why I rock the bald head. I'm just gonna use that as an excuse, not as genetics. Yeah. No, I think that they started for no question. They started an entire, they started something. I mean, the Fab Five were, has not been duplicated since. Not at all. Not at all. It paved the way for my generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure did. And everything that they went through. So, like I said, we thank them. We thank everything that you guys did at University of Michigan. Giving us kids something in Detroit, something to believe in. And it was so many times that myself and my cousins and friends, every Saturday we huddled around that television. Till this day, I don't miss a Michigan football game. I have not missed one in 30 years.
Well, that's saying something because they haven't been playing very well lately.
That's right. That's okay, man. As long as they're in my son's top 5 of schools to go to, that's all. I did my job.
Yeah, it's still. But when I was there, we won 4 Big Ten championships out of the 5 years I was there.
That's right.
And we beat Ohio State 4 out of 5 years I was there.
I remember.
We back then I think it was the first time that Michigan had actually beaten every team in the Big Ten.
That's right.
So we had some good teams. We had good teams. My first year there, Jim Harbaugh was the quarterback.
Sure was.
And we had a chance to win the national championship. We lost a game at home, Harbaugh's last home game against an unranked University of Minnesota. And the problem was that we could practice. Yeah. Bo said, I don't like the way you guys are practicing. I don't like it. And it showed up in the game. Minnesota had a chance to win if they scored on the last drive, and they pulled it off and scored a touchdown. I can't believe it. It's one of my most memorable, even though I was a freshman and didn't play in the game, it was one of my most memorable because Minnesota came across the field to get that little brown jug. Oh, and they were like, get out the way.
That little brown jug.
Get out the way.
Hey, you were with Elvis Gerback and Jamie Morrison, right?
Jamie played with both of them. Jamie is older and he played 2 years with Jamie. Elvis Gerback, he came in my 5th year. Okay. So he was the quarterback my 5th year.
Yeah, you had a chance to roll with Anthony Carter too at the beginning.
No.
Oh, receiver no. Anthony Carter. Okay.
No. He's a little bit more advanced. Got a little bit many years.
Okay, gotcha. Somebody at least.
Think Harbaugh, Robert Perriman, Tony Grant.
Yes, sir.
A coach who coached at Michigan for a while, Sue Campbell.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You still talk to Jim Harbaugh?
I have not spoken to him in a while. When we both were in the league, played professionally, we still talked. But that's been many, many years. Since he started coaching, I have not had the opportunity to talk to him. But I'm sure if if I ever saw him, he ever saw me, we're still, it's like a brotherhood.
Well, you need to write your brother a letter, Mr. Bunch. We got hey, let's get into the interview. The crazy thing, it hasn't started yet.
Okay, all right.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, can you do us an honor of introducing yourself to our audience by explaining how you were introduced to football and your career up until you decided it was time to hang up the cleats?
Yeah, I started off playing football at the age of 8. We had a little league team. But even before that, I started playing on the street. On our street, we played all the time. And I was the youngest boy on we lived on a dead end street, about 6 houses, had a lot of boys. I had an older brother, and I was the youngest on the street. And I always wanted to hang out with my brother and play football and whatever, kickball, whatever, with the older guys. And that's how I started playing football. And they didn't care my size. If I wanted to hang with them, I had to, so they played me just like they played anybody else. So that was that. Hey, but I'm gonna tell you right off the bat, when I started playing kids my age, it wasn't nice for them. Because I played against them and it's like, and I was a big kid for my age anyway. So even though I was the smallest with all of the guys I was playing with, when I came to my age playing against them, it was just terror. I was, oof.
Yeah, I bet. Hey, I mean, you played it, you're 6'4", right? 6'4", 250?
No, 6'2". Everybody, but everyone thinks that I'm taller than I am, but legitimately 6'2". When I first got to Michigan, I was 212. Okay. 212, and then each year I went from 212 to 225, and then I was 220, 235, and then senior year was 242, and then fifth year was 248, and played pro ball at 250. And then my last year was up to like 260, but I always kept my weight, but I was a big time weightlifter, so kept my speed. I always gained weight, but I was still as fast as, at the combine I ran a 4.59 at 252. But nowadays that's nothing. You got guys 260 running 4.3s.
I mean, you were built for the 3 yards in the cloud of dust aspect.
My motto is, if you need 3 yards, I get you 4 yards. You need 5 yards, you get you 4 yards. You need 10 yards, I get you 4 yards.
Yes, sir. That's right, man. So right now, I'm a little bit 6'2 3/4, about 247 right now. So, hey, if you need a backup, man, or a fill-in in your acting gigs, what I'm saying?
Well, see, right now, all right, you asked my weight. Look, I'm still in. I mean, like right now, I weigh 265, whatever. But I'm in shape. But I tell them, they say, "Man, you look like you can still play." I say, I'm good for one play.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Barry Mentor said the same thing when I interviewed him. So golly. So okay, I'm sure you dominated the high school level.
No. Well, yes and no.
That's it.
At high school, when I say yes and no, it's because yes, I started as a sophomore both ways. And I made second team all league and all county. Okay. But our team was not very good. When I was in the 8th grade, when I was in 7th grade, my brother was in the 9th grade. So when I was in the 8th grade, my brother was in the 10th. My school won their first game in 5 years. That's that's the type of program we had. So it was terrible. They didn't have a weightlifting program. They didn't have it was like just whatever. Yeah. It was whatever. And someone found me and said, "Look, you have a good frame And I think that if you worked out, that you would have a shot. You could do something. And I listened to him. He became a person that showed me the ropes. His sons, they are still to this day still in shape. I mean, actually a couple of them live here in California. They're trainers. And I'm 52. I'm 52. They were like 4 or 5 years older than me, and they are still like Adonis.
Yeah,
you
really?
know. Yeah. And so that's been the whole life, and being able to keep that mindset.
Yes, sir.
This is the first thing this guy told me. One of the first things he told me is that you have to think about training like it is the most important thing in the world. He said, you cannot ever miss, you can't stop. You got to think like the devil would get, this is the exact word. He's like, you got to think like the devil will get you if you don't work out.
Yes, sir.
And that's what he said. And so he said, that's the way you get to the next level. When this, oh, I don't feel good today, so I'm gonna take today off. Those people don't make it. He said,
well, can I interject for a second with you? My father's the same way. With you having that rigorous exercise, mentality and the need for it and importance of it, when it coincides with our, lineage and our genetics with, high blood pressure and diabetes, that and diet is the only way to pretty much keep that at bay. Has that pretty much worked for you? And everything that, you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Come to
it. Yeah, the mindset actually helps. Thinking about it, my father died at 49 of a heart attack.
Okay.
My mother is 80 years old now, and she still walks 3, 4, 5 times a day, a week. Yes. Up until before the pandemic, she used to walk 3 miles every other day, in an hour. In an hour. I mean, when she's walking. Yeah, and today she's 80. She just celebrated her 80th birthday, April 12th. And she's hard to keep up with. She's hard to keep up with. So I think part of it is genetics. The other part is, like I said, my father died at 49 of his second heart attack, and me knowing what happened to him. But he was a smoker. Okay. And he wasn't a fat man. He was a big man. Sir. Big guy. And so me knowing that I always had more tests done during my physical because it's hereditary. Heart problems is hereditary. And I've always had I've always been on the higher level for cholesterol. Okay. So I've always thought, as long as I exercise and work it out, that will fight it naturally. So that's why I've always been, working out, and and people still think, hey man, you look like you can still play. I'm just trying to stay alive. That's what it is.
That's very important information, to, like I say, people, who grew up in areas as we did, that don't get that information or the importance of it, especially with all the negative things that, are subliminally placed in our neighborhoods in order to, to cause all those things. So that's why I had to ask that question. Now, getting back in high school, like I say, you had a guy steer you towards the game and really building up your body. And then Mr. Schembeckler called.
Yes. I started getting college letters. And the first letter I got was from Weber State, Weber State. And you couldn't tell me anything. I knew where I was going to school. Where was I going to school? I was going to Weber State. So when I received that letter, it was like, wow, and then I really started lifting and doing, not that I was not doing it, but I started from my 8th grade year to the 9th grade is where it really took off, and it got into my mind that I really had to train. Okay. So what I started doing with his name is Holman, Max Holman. That's the guy who started training me. and his father, I can't remember his father's name, but I just always said, Max's dad.
Okay.
But I used to do push-ups every night from Sunday to Thursday. I gave myself Friday and Saturday off, but I would do one set of push-ups, as many as I could do. Right, that's how I started as in the 9th grade. All right, or 8th grade. In the 8th grade, before I went to bed, and in the morning before I left the house. So I had to do it before I left the house.
How many?
I started off, it was only like 25,
Okay.
right? 20. But I did that all for 4 years.
Okay.
For 4 years, never missing. And it was one of those things like, if I missed, the devil was going to get me.
Yeah, for sure.
So I never missed. And I went from, starting, and it was always as many as you can do. One set, as many as you can do.
To burnout.
It was it. So by the time I got to my senior year, I was doing 80 or 90, one set of 80 or 90 strict push-ups. So I started off with doing 25. My senior year at grad, I went up, and my chest. I mean, one of the things with big advantage of it, doing push-ups, you get pumped. So I would always get pumped before I left the door, before I walked out the door.
Looking good.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that strict way of thinking helped me in all the stuff I was doing, because even though I was like lifting weights, I started getting the letters. I started, and my body was changing, and I chose to go to Michigan, Kentucky because it's right there by Ohio. That's the only reason why. And nobody, like I said, nobody from my area had ever gone anywhere. So when they heard that Kentucky was recruiting me, they was like, "You got to go to Kentucky, man."
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll go to Kentucky."
Yeah.
And then we had a friend, my athletic director, who I love him. His daughter went to University of Maryland, so I was like, "I'll go to the University of Maryland too as for a recruiting trip." and then West Virginia, which was not too far away. I said, "Okay, I'll go there too." So it was Michigan, West Virginia, University of North Carolina, Maryland, and Kentucky. Those are the schools that I ended up going to see. And we came down to North Carolina and Michigan. And when Bo came into our house and told my mom that we will make sure that he gets a degree, it was pretty much a wrap.
Can I ask you a question? Once again, this is off script also. What made you choose? If you're like me, because of people like you, there's a hatred for that state down south.
Yeah.
What made you defect, should I say?
I give you, it's very simple. I'm from Ohio. I'm from this small town. We from this program that wasn't really a program. We, won 2 games my senior year. I have never, ever, little league, junior high, high school, rushed for 1,000 yards in a season.
Okay.
Just 1,000 yards, never 1,000 yards. But I got all these recruits, all these colleges recruiting me. Then it comes to Ohio State. Ohio State started recruiting me late. Okay. And they were like, "Oh, yeah, okay." And then they invite me up for a game and whatnot. And when I got up to the game that they invited me to, they started letting some people go up to the press box, and they had a list. And they were like, "Oh, no, you're going to sit in the stands." And I'm like, "Okay, what? You just taking turns before you go up to the press box?" And it's like, "Nah, let me see." And I said, "Am I going to get a chance to go up to the press box?" And they said, "Well, I don't know. Let me look."
Oh boy.
And I'm like, okay. And then after halftime, there's like, "Okay, we can get you up at the press box." So I go up to the press box, and then after that, I'm like, and they had the attitude like, "You're from Ohio. You're not an All-American. You're not an All-Star. Whatever. And we're recruiting you. You want to come here.
You're gonna come here.
Yeah, we know you." So I was like, "All right, good." So I'm like, I'm not even coming for official visit there. It's like, I'm not even interested. You guys acting like you're doing me a favor. I'm like, no. And so that that is why, another reason why I went to Michigan was like, and while I'm Michigan, I can't wait till we play you guys to show you.
You made the right move.
Hey, man, 4 Big Ten championships, man. Come on. Yes.
Yeah, you did. Those people down there, I know you're from there. Not your city, but everywhere else.
Hey, you know where Urban Meyer is from?
He's from Toledo, right?
No. From Ashtabula. He's from Ashtabula.
Oh, really? How close is that to the border?
It is, for Erie, it is, you can get to the Pennsylvania border within 20 minutes.
From Michigan border, from Toledo.
Oh, 40 minutes, 45 minutes?
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Harbaugh's from that area too.
Who is?
Harbaugh.
Yeah, but so.
Oh man, for sure. Like I say, thank you. You did the right thing. I've always wanted to ask a Wolverine that, came from Ohio, because so many do, what pushed, that angle.
That attitude.
Yeah, so, all right. So you went to, you got to A-Square, got to Ann Arbor, and you were able to do some great things there. Like I said, put yourself on a map. So, little kids like me, we're tuning in and watching you do your thing. Like I said, you had a pretty good career there, and then the draft came. How did that process go for you?
Well, the draft, man, the whole process it started early, because I got to go back to when I chose Michigan. I went there as a running back.
Yep.
But the first day, they were like, "You're a fullback." They switched me to fullback straight away. Gotcha. And I was like, "What the?" I come in and had Allen Jefferson, who's big and strong and fast. I'm like, he's a big dude too. Why don't you switch him to fullback? Yeah. He's bigger than me, really. Allen was bigger than me. Yeah. And they switched me to fullback, and it became a problem. I was really thinking about leaving because, right? And Terrell Burton said, listen, a good running back comes a dime a dozen, but a good fullback is very hard to find. And we only have 2 fullbacks on the team right now. They're both seniors. Next year, you'll be in a good position. Mm-hmm. So when I heard that, put myself in a position, say, well, okay. So I was training and to put myself at a top fullback, to be the best fullback there was. Yes, and back then, Michigan the fullback ran the ball too. He didn't run it 20 times a game, but he ran a good 10 times, at least 10, 11, 12 times a game. Oh, yeah. So I dedicated myself to that. So coming into my senior year, it was Leroy Horde played fullback and tailback. I remember him. Yeah, so, but the problem for me was when he put him in fullback, they ran the fullback. When they wanted the fullback to be doing all the blocking, they put me. Oh, okay, yeah, that's a problem. I form. Yes. So Leroy came out early. And then my 5th year, I was there by myself. So now, whether there's running the fullback, blocking the fullback, whatever, I was there. Mm-hmm. And there's when, again, you want 5 yards, I get you 4, I get whatever. But I ended up 500 yards, 100. I had 100 carries. Oh, wow. So you got 500 yards. 100 carries, 500 and some yards. It was 5 yards. That was it. And that showed that I was more than a blocker. Yeah, and 5 yards a carry. Good Lord. Yeah, and so that's what happened with actually it was over 550, 560, whatever. But it got me noticed that he's more than a blocker. He's fast and he can run. And seriously, if he says he's gonna get you 4 yards, he gets you 4 yards. Yeah, definitely. So that's what put me at the top of the heap. Okay. And then some teams thought that I was a running back because Michigan had so many running backs. They were looking at it like the running back. They have so many, they put 2 running backs in. Oh yeah. And just call one a fullback. Mm-hmm. And so some teams had me listed as a running back. Some teams had me listed as a fullback. But I knew I was going to go whoever needed a big back. Mm-hmm. Gotcha. But it was rough. It was rough. I felt. Sometimes I felt upset that I wasn't getting rated as a running back.
Okay.
Where some other fullbacks in the country were getting rated as a running back because they played both running back and fullback.
Mm-hmm.
But I, at Michigan, because we had so many top running backs, I never lined up at running back a single time in my college career. It was always at fullback.
Oh, so you never dotted the I?
Never.
Okay.
Never. And, but going into the pros, they still said, we see him as both.
Okay.
Some teams did.
You had a very highly successful first season there with the Giants.
Second season. My second season.
Okay.
Yes.
First, with having 500 yards, and like I said, I usually don't stick on the sports aspect this much because I know you guys have answered this question so many times, but this is a little different for me because it's near and dear to my heart. Like I said, you played so much of a part of my childhood. You get what I'm saying? So
yes,
that's what that is. So I'm just asking questions that I always wanted to know.
It's all right.
Yeah, that draft prospect, it's a lot different draft process. It's a lot different than it is now. Yeah, but for you to go 27, after averaging 5 yards a carry, 500 yards, that's saying something.
Yeah, well, I was the last pure fullback to be drafted in the first round for sure. Now there's not even a fullback. I mean, does it exist?
No, they don't get drafted.
No, exactly.
I think John Connor was the last one out of Oakland that you went to. I want to say Oakland. Yeah, out of Oakland. They had one. Yeah, the
right.
last one that was a relatively respectable draft pick. But right. Yeah, so yeah, you got with the Giants the year following the Super Bowl.
The year following, and not only was it after the Super Bowl, it was also the year that Bill Parcells resigned.
Mm-hmm.
He retired, and he didn't do it he didn't do it right after the Super Bowl. He did it right before the season started. Yeah. And so it became a sore subject when the assistant head coach was not promoted to head coach.
Well, Mr. Belichick?
The offensive coordinator wasn't promoted to offense, which is Ron Earhart, who was the offensive coordinator and assistant head coach. They gave the running back coach. They promoted the running back coach to head coach.
Who was that?
And Ray Hanley.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, well, you probably don't even remember him because he was a running back coach, and he became the head coach, and he lasted 2 years.
Okay. And
that year was moved up. The assistant head coach and offense coordinator, Ron Earhart, they did not get along. And obviously, because this guy's still on the staff and he's been, stepped over. And I'm the first number one pick coming in. They just won the Super Bowl. They really didn't have any holes.
Yeah.
So they come in and it became a power thing. And Ray Hanley wanted to show that he was the right pick. He was the right choice for this position.
Mm-hmm. Not, you and Otis with that backfield, Otis Anderson and yourself.
Otis Anderson was still there. Rodney Hampton, David Meggett, Louis Tillman, and we actually that year we went 8-8.
Yeah. Stephen Baker, the touchdown maker.
Stephen Baker, touchdown maker.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So the coaching staff changed.
Okay.
Actually, that was the same year that the defense coordinator, that's at New England now, man.
Belichick
went to Cleveland Browns. So now you lose the head coach.
Yep.
At least you lose the defensive coordinator. And the new head coach comes in and wants to put his stamp on it. He brings in a new defense coordinator who comes in with a totally different defense.
What defense was that?
It's no longer in existence. Like I said, we went 8-8 and then 6-10. So,
gosh, yeah. Off of that Super Bowl season, good Lord.
He was a guy who was not in professional football. Oh. He was right? They brought him in, and he brought this totally new defense in. They switched it up, and people were not happy.
Yeah.
We lost. We didn't do well, and
the rest is history.
Then Dan Reeves comes in my third year, and but that second year where we went 6-10, even though he was fired, we did lead the league in rushing. And that was Rodney and myself. Rodney went to the Pro Bowl. Back then they didn't have a fullback to go to the Pro Bowl. You know, they just had running backs, right? But that's the year that I was second in the league in yards per carry.
Wow.
From the fullback position.
Well, how many yards was that?
It was 500 and something. And guess how many carries did I have?
How many?
I had 100 carries.
Oh, really? Did it again?
It was. I told you. It was so. I had.
We'll get you 5 on every.
Yeah, I told you. It's so. Sure. I had 4.8 yards a carry, and back then it was tied for the number 2 highest yards per carry. So, and I did it all from fullback. I never played running back. So. But
4.2 is solid these days. Yeah, so you get 4.8. Yeah, good Lord.
Yeah.
And they knew you were running.
Come on, you know. Yeah. And one the funny thing is that I broke about it was like a 39-yard run in the first or second game, and after the first or second game, I was averaging like 6-7 yards carry, and one of the reporters was like, well, that's not going to last. And I said, maybe it will, maybe it won't, you know? And so my goal was just, always get that 5 yards of crack. That was it.
That's right. That's money.
That's it. That's it.
So you went to Oakland, and so I guess during the beginning of your 5th year, you decided to hang up the cleats.
So what happened? What happened is LA. They were the LA Raiders then.
Okay.
So I got hurt in training camp, my knee. Training camp hurt my knee, and then I was out for 4 weeks. I didn't get surgery. They said I didn't need surgery. Then I got pneumonia, and I got whooping cough. So I missed another 4 weeks during the season.
Okay.
And it helped my knee. Those 4 weeks off helped because I wasn't able to do anything. So it helped the knee. So I came back, but the knee was still a problem. And went through the rest of the year at about 60, 70%. And at the end of the year, I had a surgery scheduled to get on my foot, got it on my foot. And then it was the same leg that I had hurt my knee. And because I wasn't able to do exercise and all that, the knee even got worse.
Yeah.
And then they took a test for my knee, and they said, oh, you need surgery on your knee now.
Oh, yeah.
And now it was in April. And it was like, you're so close to the season right now. If we do surgery now, we're concerned that you may have to miss this season. And they didn't want to do that. So they said, we'll do a scope and do what's called a lateral release. And I said, wait a minute, I want to get it fixed right. I don't want just this, patch job. And they said, no, it should be all right. So I went and got a second opinion. They said, yeah, you can get it fixed with the scope, was called a lateral release.
Okay.
I got it done there. Then I didn't pass the physical.
Oh, gotcha.
I couldn't pass the physical, and went from there. The Raiders called and said, listen, we want you to come. We need you. We don't want anybody else to get you. We know you're still rehabbing. We'll do that for, the first 3 weeks, and then we'll get you going. So they signed me right off the bat just to get, so nobody else will sign me.
Yeah, definitely.
And I was taking so many painkillers and anti-inflammatories and everything else.
Yeah.
And at the time I was only 26. And I thought, man, how many more years, if I think I'm gonna play 10 years and this is only number 4, how many more years I'm gonna be able to do this?
Yeah, really.
So I went cold turkey and stopped taking all medication and everything and just tried to do natural stuff. And
that takes willpower, man.
Yeah. Oh, but it showed.
Yeah.
My mind said, go here. But by the time my mind said, go here, the play was done.
Yeah.
The guy was past me, everything else. And it just kept going on like that. And they just said, listen, we're going to have to, I came to my locker room Wednesday morning. Come in there and it's cleaned out.
Oh boy.
It's cleaned out. And I'm like, what's going on? And I went to see the trainer or whatever. He's like, oh, go see so-and-so. I go see the general manager. He's like, yeah, we placed you on waivers. Okay. So that's how I found out.
Yeah.
Then I had to find out. I had to go to work and do something.
Yeah, understood. So now you're you enter a crossroad type scenario. So I want to take this experience that you had and use it to the regular person, everyday working labor, type scenario. What advice would you give for people that want to change their careers, but are reluctant due to risk of wagering priorities? You get what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. So I'm going to tell you this. I'll put it to you like this. Change is going to occur, period. Now you can either make some adjustments or not, but the change will come. And all the time that you're doing this, and I found this out through actual experience, your bills are still running up.
Yes.
Things still need to be paid. Things still need to be taken care of. Food still needs to be, eaten. You still have to take care of things.
Definitely.
And no matter how much you think about it, something has to be done. You got to make a choice.
It adds an area or a mindset of trepidation, and so definitely. Yeah.
So you got to do something. And I thought, man, it's scary. It's scary because it's, some people always talk about, how can players lose so much? Or the fact of the matter is, if you have a fixed expense of, let's just say, $10 fixed expense, and you're making $1 a month, it's going to take you 10 months to get to fixed expense for 1 month. So how are you going to do that?
Exactly.
So that's the simple fact is, you got to do something, and either you got to get those fixed expenses down, or you got to find a job that pays you more than what your fixed expenses are. And when you're playing professional football and getting paid that much, you don't just start off a regular job getting paid that amount.
Yeah, you're right. I'm in my situation, this was what a friend of mine kind of came to me and asked for advice a little while ago. He's in a situation where he can currently take care and provide for his family, but he's being well underpaid. But there is other alternatives to go to places. But one thing that's that his career has in his position with this company is a good cultural. What should I say? The culture is good. He gets along with his managers and friends, and they respect him and everything. But he's been in positions where he wasn't, when he was just a number, or looked at differently, especially in different scenarios when he was the only African American because of his, because of his career status. So I figured I was going to ask you that question, for him. Do you risk, the comfort zone and being able to sit there and be able to take care and provide for your family, but, you know, but not receiving the compensation and what you're worth, or do you go take a chance on another company and you may not experience the same thing? It could add a different mental, you know, aspect to it.
I think it depends. If it's just you compared to you and your wife and you have a family, or it's just you and your wife, or you and your wife and you got one child, whatever, you have to figure out, how can I put a plan together that's going to either set me up for 3 months or 2 months, right?
Okay.
So say I'll continue to do this, but I'm setting up, you know, putting away some money or whatever so that I can leave this and venture out into another situation. And I have a cushion that can take care of the stress, because stress can be a killer.
Definitely.
Right? So while you have the job, try to set yourself up for a future and put away something, or try to put yourself in a position where you can, you know, you got a 3-month cushion or a couple month cushion, that when you make that transition to try to do something that's better for you just mentally, right? Because you want to, it's a drag on you where you are. If it's a drag on you where you are, and you know this cannot be it. It's got to be something better than this. Then you should start setting yourself up for it. Okay. And make the move. Try to make the move, but don't make the move until you have a cushion or something that is there, that if anything happens, you got it. You got 3 months or whatever. And if it's going to take you, you know, how many years to do it, that's what you have to do. You have to have the cushion.
Yes, sir. That's priority. Now, Giorgio, you want to fill in?
Oh, I was just going to say the life raft. That's what we call that. You know, the cushion he's talking about. Yeah, you got to build a life raft.
Yes.
So that you can transition and, you know, it's not as much of a risk, because you really can't, like you said, stress. You can't function full capacity when you're that stressed out.
No.
Right.
You know, so that's all I was going to say about that.
Yeah, like, go ahead, Mr. Bunch.
The reason why I know that is because I didn't have it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I did not have the life raft. And a lot of us, I'm talking about people my color, we are not taught that. We are not
financial
taught,
literacy.
you know. No, what we you know, what I came up is like, you know, you pay your bills and you move on. You know, you make enough money to pay your bills and move on, right? So when you don't have that and you haven't been taught, and when I say taught, I mean that you are not living around it. We actually, you know, do the things that we are, you know, we see most of the time. When I grew up, my father and my mother, my father worked in the factory, made good money. I mean, back then he was making good money. My mother really didn't have to work, but she did. We had a house, we had a couple homes, whatever, but it was pay the bills. That's it. Get the money, pay the bills. Nothing was put away anywhere, right? It was just about paying the bills. So that's what I grew up with.
Yeah, that's usually the commonality in our neighborhoods.
Yes.
You know, and the with the subtraction of financial literacy there, because, you know, they never had an opportunity to build that life raft or create any generational wealth.
Right. There was none. Right.
Yeah, it leads to that, you know, so definitely.
The sad thing is that we could have.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, we growing up, we could have and did a life raft, right? But nobody told us about that. Nobody told my parents about that.
Yeah, and
right?
that's the information unequally distributed aspect. Yes, sir. So how did all of the ethics that it took to be successful in football play a part in transition in the martial arts and entertainment?
Because it was very helpful in the fact that I had to work hard. Like, you know, when I talk about those push-ups that I did for 4 years, that was a dedication. And when the Homans, Mark and Max Homan and Kaiser Homan was telling me you had to think about, you know, the devil's going to get you if you don't do it. It was all a mindset then that now going into business or going into acting, entertainment, you have to go with the same mindset that you're trying to get things done with the same focus that you had when you're trying to play football. Yep. And because of all that training in football that I saw how hard I had to work, but it was worth it. Same in business, man. If you do a lot of hard work, you control it, you can make some big, you know. Now, of course, you know, in football, we don't win every game, right? No. So in business, whether you worked hard or not, sometimes you're not going to win every, you know, interaction that you set up with.
Gotcha.
So, but you cannot let it be the distractor. It can't be the thing that, and look, and I'm saying it, but I'm also preaching to myself too.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Because it's like a daily thing. Always working on something. It's like, why am I working so hard for this and still not working? You know, that's why I got out of entertainment. I was working for so many years, trying to get, you know, a lead role and trying to get a regular job on a regular character of a regular TV show, whatever. Mm-hmm. And it just took so long. It's like, oh man. But you just got to keep working on, you know, or switch and do something else.
Yes, sir. So you decided to, let's go to jiu-jitsu because I just think it's amazing. Like I say, and everything that football entails, all the hard work that it takes to gain closure, like I say, or be elite, you know, in my experience, it translated into my experience as a soldier, as an infantry soldier, or when I was, you know, interviewing for jobs or, you know, trying to gain a reputation, or in those first 90 days, you know, of a job that make or break you to attack things from that angle.
You know? Yeah. Well, jiu-jitsu was one of those things. It still is. I still teach, still, you know, as much as I can. I just had another knee surgery last Friday. So yeah, I just had surgery. But it was one of those, jiu-jitsu was one of those things that after I did the Don King story, I played George Foreman. A lot of people thought that I was a boxer. They didn't, you know, people who didn't know that who I was, they thought, oh, they had a real boxer. So some people thought that this was this fighter, and then they found out it's Jarrod Bunch, blah, right. And when I got injured and had to stop playing football, one of the things that I did to try to rehabilitate my knee was martial arts. And I started doing Tai Chi and judo. And all those things got me really strong. And so people start putting together, oh, he does, and they start thinking that I was doing this judo to fight or learning judo or whatever, learning Tai Chi and all that. But it was all for my strengthening my muscle of my knee. So when they saw the Don King, me playing George Foreman, and then they knew I did martial arts, a guy calls me up and says, listen, how would you like to fight in an MMA fight? Be the headliner, pay-per-view, you against another football player. And he told me how much I was going to get paid. I said, yep, let's do it. I said, let's do it. And he said, okay, I'll call. So he calls the other guy, and they set up the thing. It's a pay-per-view, King of the Cage, which is, you know, they're still around, King of the Cage. And it was pay-per-view, and they did it in Cleveland, Ohio. It was at the time, it was 2005, 2005. And I ended up losing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was getting paid, and I would just take the money. And the guy says, "You're fighting Michael Westbrook," and it's like, "Oh yeah, cool. Hey, what up? The receiver? Yeah.
Colorado?
Yes. Remember he
caught that ball.
Yeah. So he had they said, well, he knows jujitsu. So we're going to put you with somebody who knows a little bit of jiu-jitsu, but you should be all right. You should be all right. You know, if you get with this guy. I was training like 3 times a week, you know, for like 5 weeks, and didn't know what never got into a cage, never, you know, did real MMA until that night.
Yes, sir.
And I got in there and didn't know what I was doing and was thinking that he was going to try to wrestle me or whatever.
Mhm.
I never punched him. I never threw one punch.
Oh boy.
Because I'm thinking like, oh, he's gonna try to, you know. And I was training with some black belts, and the black belts weren't able to do anything with me. So I'm like, hey, he's not even a black belt. I know. So I tried to get him, and I went to take him down. He got on my back, and he got me in a choke.
Yeah, the rear
So
neck.
that's how I lost.
Yeah, that real mount, boy.
So, but then I said, let me find out what this is all about.
Mhm.
What's this jujitsu, right? Because I know this, I can beat this. Come on.
Brazilian jiu-jitsu though, right?
Yeah, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I said, I know I can beat. Like, I was fighting against black belts and didn't even know what I was doing, but I was doing well.
Yeah.
So I started training jiu-jitsu and I fell in love with it. It became like learning a new language.
Mhm.
I was able to continue to keep my strength.
Yeah.
And it was making me, it was better for my knees. I was able to bend and do a lot of stuff that I wasn't able to do before. And it was healthy for me. And I loved it. I was going every day, sometimes twice a day. And then I started competing in tournaments.
Mhm.
And I was winning all the tournaments. So I started white belt, and then I went white belt, blue belt, purple belt, brown belt, they got the black, and I was winning the Pan Ams, I was winning the Worlds, I was winning the US Open, every time I was fighting, I was winning. I would go to Brazil, I fought in Brazil, won the international master senior, and I started at 36.
Yeah, I read that.
All right. And I was but I wouldn't fight I would fight against 18 and over.
Yeah.
I would fight the adult division, and I was winning all of them.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay.
Whooping them young boys out there, whooping them young boys.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
And so that is what I just, and I got my black belt in 4 years.
Mhm.
And it's just been, it's like learning a new language. And it's been so helpful, and it's you know, I like to train anyway, and this is the one I started tearing muscles from lifting weights.
Yeah.
And not from trying to be Mr. Hulk, just regular lifting, you know. And I tore my pec completely off. Wow. Just from a regular last set, last rep. And the doctor said, listen, you know, you're 45. At that time, I was 46 years old. Mm-hmm. You know, you can't be doing what you used to do. That's it. And so I just said, you know I do more of bands. I still just do my jiu-jitsu and try to stay as healthy as I can. But I mean, I got knees, hips, shoulders. But when you look, nobody knows. You know, you know, you would know that I got a problem with it. Yeah, definitely. Because I'm not gonna. As long as you stay active, okay, it won't lock up.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it works. Yeah. You know, hey, anything that's not growing is dying.
There you have it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I heard that from Reverend T.D. Jakes, Bishop Jakes, and that's so real. My mother passed, you know, from a heart attack, but she pretty much completely stopped being mobile for years, you know, and just declined. So that's great information. I'm not gonna hold you too much longer, but the conversation has been very organic, you know. So yeah, I appreciate it.
Talking a lot.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I'm just gonna ask you a few more questions, man, but they're powerful questions that can really, you know, affect someone else. So you decided to get into acting. What kind of adversity have you faced being a Black actor in Hollywood?
Brother, when I first started, it was different than it is now. Right now, it's the best time that it has ever been for male actors of color. They're getting more opportunities, more shots, more things. When I first started, it was like there's a few spots, and every time you went in, you saw the same guys. You were competing against the same guys all the time. Yep. So it was rough. It was a hard thing. I tell people now, it's rough. It's hard. You gotta work it. You gotta be ready to, you know, take a lot of no's.
Mhm.
And it's not always about the best actor, for sure. The best actor is not always the person that gets the job.
Definitely not.
It is a person that you know fits the mold and what they're looking for.
That's in life, period.
Period.
Yeah. So yeah, you have to work twice as hard. Everything that comes with those analogies. I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. But you sustained. You
You
sustained.
try.
Yeah,
Yes,
I mean,
you do. You do what you can. You do what you can, and you make adjustments. And that's for football, man. I mean, that's how football helped.
exactly.
When a play is called, it doesn't go exactly how it's written up on the board, but you adjust. You make adjustments on the roof. Boom, right? And then the next time we call that play, we anticipate
Hmm.
and you make the move. So the same as an actor, you try, you prepare, you go in, you do your best, you make connections, you make relationships, you build relationships, and then you have to start doing stuff your own.
Yeah.
That's what you got to start producing stuff on your own and try to make it happen.
After a while, especially in your life, and a lot of us that reach a certain moniker career-wise, a certain level, the adversity is expected, and included in the plan, because you face so much of it. I mean, you come in, you're the man, but then you're a fullback. You know what I'm saying? So, all right, I got to accept this fullback role, but I'm about to work and I'm about to be the best fullback, 5 yards to carry. Boom. You know what I'm saying? And I took that, all right, rewards, 27 pick of the draft, first round draft pick. Boom. You get what I'm saying? To coming, all right, jiu-jitsu. I'm just working out and, here comes some adversity from my knees, just trying to get my knee better. And then boom, Lord provides. So yeah, so then you go to Hollywood, but now you have a certain moxie about yourself. That's the thing, the confidence, understanding that you're going to face a certain level of, like I say, trepidation and struggle and obstacles, but you'll come out of it because you always do.
That is the mindset.
Yes, sir.
That is the mindset that no matter what, you have to persevere and come through it. If the mindset is that, bring it on, man.
That's
now
right.
that's not, bring it on.
Cannot be broken.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Don't want it, but ain't afraid of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't want it, but ain't afraid of it.
That's right. That's right. So what do you have going on now? And what advice would you give the 23-year-old Mr. Bunch, today?
I would say this. Don't be afraid. And sometimes it's going to hurt.
Okay.
But you got to keep on. Don't allow the breaking to break you.
Yes, sir.
Don't allow it to break you. We all get it. We all have problems. You may think that you see someone that always gets he always wins. He always gets something you don't know. You don't know what you're not seeing.
Yes, sir.
So don't try to compare yourself to this guy or that guy because they've compared themselves to somebody else. Don't worry about that. That's not the important part. The important part is whatever you're going through, you got to remember you are going through it to move through it, not to stay.
Yes, sir.
That's it. Move through it.
So this will be our question of the day. What is your feeling on Kaepernick not getting a sincere opportunity? And do you believe him not receiving that opportunity, opposed to if he was given one, would have a greater impact historically?
I answer this question like this because I know a little bit about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if he didn't get all the opportunities because he got some that I don't think that it was better for it. It turns out it's better situation for him now
Mm-hmm.
than it would have been had he taken those opportunities that he had.
Agree.
So that's the way I guess
I feel it because I asked this question because people, people in our culture, they push so hard. You know, Tebow got a chance. You know, but they still never gave Kaepernick. But I just think, like I say, with him not getting another opportunity, it's so much profound, so much more of an impact 50 years from now. Kind of like the Muhammad Ali theory.
Yes.
You know, they hated him then.
Yes.
You know, yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
yeah, that's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
In terms of him getting the position.
Yeah, and I think that he understood that too, because somewhere where he could have gone, his impact would have not. It would not have been what it's going to be now.
Yeah, definitely.
What has been continuously. Think about him going somewhere right now. Well, then what? Then they'll be like, oh, see, okay, well, he's back on. He's back on the team. Everybody can stop now. It's like when Barack Obama was president. Okay, y'all got a black president now. Okay, now everything's cool. There's no more racism.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had to ask this question because it's looking from a different perspective, but into the future. You know, he got a job and he comes back. This is a job. This you know for certain that this isn't something that you can walk away from for 2 or 3 years and come back.
No.
Yeah, no. It's a kid who's locked in. You know, this hand-eye coordination is at a certain level, and when that goes, it diminishes. You know, so it would have. I think it would have tainted the whole story.
Right. There were so many people have been looking for him to fail anyway. See, I told you.
Yep.
See. All that arguing over him, and look.
Yep. This is why he didn't get a chance.
Right.
That
would be the argument there.
Yes, sir. Yep. There you go. Oh man. Well, hey, Mr. Bunch, I just cannot begin to tell you how grateful and how thankful I am. This was maybe the best birthday present that I ever received, besides the ones my wife gave me.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, those are all great, boo. Yeah, but yeah, it really, you know, gave me the motivation and inspiration I needed to continue on and to make my platform an ASAP Elite a success. You know, I'm going up against some giants, man. I'm understood that I'm going up against Brandon Marshall, you know, Matt Barnes. You know, I'm going to get some big guys out there, you know, and I have to contend with them. But you give me the inspiration, man, and the motivation that I can go and conquer anything. So I really appreciate you.
Well, I hope that this helps a lot. I hope it helps out in any way. I love the fact that you're doing it. And I love to be here and give you. I talked a lot, but
you're supposed to. It's the place you're supposed to do it.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's it. You know, I'm praying for you. Hope you do. You know, you do well. So.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy the show. And like I say, every show is based around educating. Yep, sir.
I got you.
Yeah, sir. Hey, thank you so much, and welcome to the ASAP Elite family, sir.
Thank you. It's a pleasure, man.
Nice to meet you.
Your success. Nice to meet you too.
Thank you.
Take it easy.
You know, talk to a guy who, like I say, it was so much more than an athlete, you know, who had a different perspective and a different way of attacking life, you know, and would not be pigeonholed or the limitations. There were no limitations, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what I like, the taking away the shut up and dribble aspect of it. And, you know, just showing our audience that, you know, everything can be conquered if it's strategically, you know, planned, you know.
Right. I think another thing that was continued throughout everything he was saying is, you know, like he learned in football, the harder he worked, the more success he found. And he applied that principle and that mentality to all the different things that he ended up doing, acting, jujitsu. Now he has a production company. And that's all, you know, amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
Fearless.
Well, my brother, Giorgio, thank you. You did a wonderful job.
I didn't do much, but
yeah,
you're welcome.
You look real good. You know what I'm saying?
Good.
Yeah, brother. Thank you, man. Look forward to working with you in the future. Hey, we're signing off, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right.
Cheers.